Hey everybody, welcome back to the Graphic Multiverse. I'm your host Paul, joined with Angela.
Hello.
Chandler.
Hi.
And Rob.
Hello.
Oh man, I'm excited for today's episode because we're doing Sailor Moon, and it's I'm super excited about it because it's been a while since we've kind of tackled any manga, anime related stuff. So
Not to mention, like, this is just like a heavy hitter, like.
I feel like Sailor Moon is like a cultural touchstone. In nerd circles. Yes,
totes. So yeah, but before we dive in, and I'm just kind of jumping in early because I know there's going to be a lot to talk about, and I know we're burning daylight. But I just want to do a quick, news story. Last week, and I didn't find out about this until after I recorded our episode with Rob last week. This whole controversy of whether or not heroes perform oral sex apparently was not something I was.
According to DC, heroes don't
do that. Yeah. So in case
is insulting.
Yeah. Just in case if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. I mean, what's new, right? But this is for the third season of Harley Quinn, where the producers announced that DC rejected a storyline where Batman is eating out Catwoman on the rooftops of Gotham. And yeah, I guess he was told by DC that heroes don't do that. And Twitter was tweeting about it,
as they should.
Yeah. Even I know this blew Angela's mind. Zack Snyder even weighed in on it. He tweeted a picture of Batman eating out Catwoman, and it just said canon.
Yeah, I mean, if Zack Snyder is going on record to be like, "Hey guys, I think that's a little like stupid for you to do that," I mean, then it's super sexist. Like, if Zack Snyder is the one, this is the guy who had like women like lamenting and smelling like Aquaman sweater. So
thank you for the fish.
Yes. And only moms and wives are of value.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like, and yeah. So I think that we can all agree that I think DC needs to grow up a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because it's not like it's in a mainstream comic book, right? I mean, it's for the Harley Quinn show, which establishes itself very early in the first episode what kind of show this is. And they've gotten away with a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand. The only way I can understand, like, heroes don't do that is if you put, like, gay heroes don't do that. Because they don't like vagina. And that...
So gay men heroes don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's also just weird because you'd be like...
Lesbian heroes will do that.
Right.
But gay heroes will not do that.
It just seems like a weird way to phrase it, Because it's just like... Well, you'd be like... You'd think heroes would do it, like, happily. It's like, oh, let me be the pleasure giver, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like, I'm a hero. I do...
Because I think heroes do that. That's what makes you a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Also, can you imagine Batman, if you don't eat out her pussy, I'm gonna blow up Gotham. I can't do that.
Just imagine being the executive that said this, though, where all he had to do, or she, or whoever said this, I don't know. I feel like a woman wouldn't say this, so I'm going to assume it was a man. A woman would be like, yeah, Batman does that shit.
Yeah.
I think the best tweet I saw was like, well, why else would he have an open mask?
Exactly. There's literally, like, in Tom King's run with them getting married and shit, isn't there, like, a shot of them, like, he's like naked with just the cowl on and they're just like banged on the roof? It's just like,
yeah, yep.
Catwoman and Batman have such a weirdly sexualized relationship. Why would you start drawing the line now?
I don't know. Is there something about...
I mean, she's got a whip, for Christ's sake, so like a skin tight bodysuit, and
Is there something about eating vajij that is so horrifying?
I think it's because I think I told this before. I think a lot of people are afraid of it because there are people who think that like the clit does not exist.
Yes.
That it's an urban legend.
They do think, or the female orgasm is
Yes.
an urban legend. They
Yeah.
do. And it's a self-own when they say that.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but couldn't they have just been like, we don't want to show our heroes engaging in sexual acts because children will inevitably watch this? You know, at least to make it seem like a normal answer to something like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
but even
Not
still,
be like, I hate women. I mean,
like,
heroes don't do that.
you can show like heroes like maiming people and blowing things up and murdering people,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
you can't show them
America's
pleasing a
weird
lady.
Anti-sex,
That's
pro-violence
fucked up.
thing is a whole other
Yeah,
problem.
that's well, and I mean, I think that we should definitely examine that as a culture because you look at all the violence that is happening. I mean, maybe we
It's
should.
definitely an American thing because we were just watching John Oliver and they were showing like what was it, that commercial in Japan where
yeah.
it was like an anime of like
the condom,
Yeah.
the condom warrior suit.
and the commercial ended with "to be condom," like to be continued, and it was it's pretty great. The kid's name was Goro and he finds his magic condom and it's like an armor suit and he's got to fight other anime
and other
villains.
anime guys in their condom suits, but if their condom suits are weak,
Yeah.
then they're like,
It's hilarious,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's engaging, and it's way better than what America does because I think as John Oliver said, it's like here, condom, banana, and let's never talk about this again.
yeah.
Sex ed. I never even got sex ed
Me
like in
neither.
school. Like, and God forbid if I try to talk to my parents about it, penis goes into the vagina. Well, and then what? Like, I thought it was like I thought making a baby was like filling up your car with gas. Just like, all right. So I was work today. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, that meeting go okay? No, I got a schedule. That's a bummer. I'm almost done. You feeling full yet? Like, that's like just that's how it felt. Not felt. That
That's
was-
weird.
Yeah. It was
That's weird. That's a weird thing
Anyway,
to say.
I think we can all agree heroes do that, and
Or they should. Don't
they
shame
sh-
them. Don't shame heroes for their kinks. And I don't think that eating vagina should be a kink. I think that should be like a norm because blowjobs
Yeah.
are considered norm.
yeah,
I mean, eating ass is considered norm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're millennials. That's like what we do.
Yeah.
We're just like eating
It's now
ass.
mainstream.
Mainstream.
Now mainstream eating ass.
Now part of a balanced breakfast.
It is. It is. Well, we
Well,
can't buy a home, but at least we can eat ass.
well, I'm sure
all
that
we
person at
need.
DC happy that now the internet is littered with fan art of this
Yeah.
exact situation. And not
Well-
just fan art, what looks like just actual DC artists have
It's
got out there
amazing.
and done
I
it.
think
I
it's
saw
fabulous.
Babstar did some
That's
stuff.
what they get.
Yay.
I forget. Whoever drew the Zack Snyder post thing looked like somebody doing like a Frank Miller impersonation.
I think that was the artist who did some of Batman Incorporated with Grant Morrison. I'm blanking on his name, but yeah.
Yeah, like the Quietly-esque.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not quite quietly. It's a little not loud, but
Yeah. Quieter.
yeah.
so
Yeah. Well, because I just want to get that out of the way so we could dive into something that is so gosh darned wholesome.
sorry,
Sailor
my segue would have been terrible.
What was your segue going to be?
Speaking of eating pussy,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, yours was better. I was actually gonna go for the anime condom and have that be the segue,
No.
and I had to start
No.
I had to start telling my gas story.
No, I mean, well, there are cats in it.
Yeah.
Three
True.
pussies.
Yeah.
Luna?
There are cats. They're a big part of the story.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Sailor Moon. I'm gonna now. For those who don't know, Angela. I think this is a fair statement of the group. I would say you're the Sailor Moon expert. You've been a lifelong fan.
I was. I what was the? I could make the Bane speech.
Born in it, molded by it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
didn't remember it, so
yeah.
that was the closest I got.
Angela was born in the Starlight. I merely adopted it in 2015. No, 2014 actually.
Yeah,
2014 is when you started.
I made you. I was like, we're doing this.
Yeah. And yeah.
So my introduction to Sailor Moon was I was watching Ronin Warriors on UPN. And Ronin Warriors was kind of like a really terrible anime that was like Voltron, but they were samurai warriors that had like color coded like samurai uniforms. And Jade was my favorite because he had blonde hair, but with like one bang that just went over one of his eyes, and I thought he was beautiful. And I was like, this show is amazing. I couldn't tell you to this day one episode or one plot point at all, but I lived for Jade. I will always remember Jade. And one morning, when I turned on to the TV to watch Ronin Warriors, it was Sailor Moon, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And the rest was history. I fell in love.
What was it about Sailor Moon that attracted you to it? That you were like, oh girl.
This is like 1994, and it was the first time I had seen an action adventure TV show where it was all women or all girls because they're 14. So usually if you had an action adventure show and there was a girl in it, there was only one, and she was usually like just there for like to be, I don't know, she was the princess, or she was being rescued.
Glimpse through the male gaze.
Or she was the pink one. You know, like that's just, I mean, she was the pink one, you know? And I think of Voltron, I think of, Power Rangers. I think of those things, and I mean, I think of like April O'Neil. I think of Penny from Inspector Gadget. Yeah. Anything that revolved like action and adventure, like because if I ever saw a cartoon that was all girls or all women, they dealt with like romance or like interpersonal relationships, like Gem and the Holograms. Like who could be the best like girl group, and or it was Rainbow Bright. It's like who could bring color into the world, like it was just which was great, but even Rainbow Bright, like you had a lot of boys on the team, or you did have She-Ra. So I guess that's not entirely true. You did have She-Ra, but I feel like She-Ra was still very closely tied to He-Man and was just like the girly version of something that already existed. So it was my first introduction to the magical girl, and I think it was pretty much America's first introduction to the magical girl.
I mean, it is pretty cool seeing like a team of just women.
Mm-hmm. And everything that you like, I mean, so many creators were inspired by Sailor Moon. Like you see its influence in everything now. Like Steven Universe, like you name
Star
it.
Versus the Forces of Evil.
Precisely.
It's like literally Sailor Moon.
even like the Avengers cartoon in like 2000, like what was that, 2011? Like had like a Tony Stark like Sailor Moon transformation sequence. I don't think they intentionally wanted to make it that way, but then people reanimated it and did a meme, and it was great, and we loved it.
Like a cultural subconscious.
It is. I mean, but yeah, the transformations, the like posing, and like, I mean, Sailor Moon is an icon, and definitely an iconic thing. Like I think especially for our generation. I mean, everybody knows Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find somebody who hasn't heard of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Unless,
Yeah, I feel like at the very least, it's in your peripheral.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, growing up, I was big into the Toonami, but I would always jump in, like, right before Dragon Ball Z started. So I would catch the last, like, 10 minutes of Sailor Moon constantly. And I would like half pay attention because I was just there for the Dragon Ball Z and then the Gundam Wing. But it had always been there. I've always known about Sailor Moon. and it's just always been there. People just never stop bringing it up. And then recently, when Netflix is like, "Hey, we're releasing all this new Sailor Moon stuff," I was like, I should partake in Sailor Moon. So this was a good excuse to get me to start watching some.
I was actually surprised when you brought it up because I know Angela had talked about doing a Sailor Moon thing, but because I think it's, I don't know, for me, I didn't know what to expect when I kind of started watching Sailor Moon. I didn't think I was going to get sucked into the story, though, because the first season, there was a time where it was like, we have to go to bed, but we got to watch one more, because there's a certain point where it's like cliffhanger to cliffhanger. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I need to know what's happening. And it's way more engaging. And this is speaking personally. I had an easier time getting into Sailor Moon than Dragon Ball, because I missed the anime bandwagon as a kid, and I had a really hard time getting into Dragon Ball. Sailor Moon.
Well, and in the 90s, it was Dragon Ball was for boys and Sailor Moon was for girls. But even though we all watched it all.
I definitely watched Sailor Moon
Everybody I knew
openly.
Yeah, everybody I knew watched it all. And this was before Toonami, because Deke had it. I don't know if you guys remember Deke. Deke. Yeah, they had it. It was like, it wasn't like a subsidiary of Bandai or something, or like an American
Something like that.
thing for something like that. And then Cartoon Network got a hold of it in the late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, so I mean, I think that if you are new to Sailor Moon, or if you're curious about it, there are a lot of great resources for anybody to start.
I do have some questions though about Sailor Moon, because what would we 3-4 seasons now into Sailor Moon
So
that you and I have watched?
Yes. So basically there are, I think there's 5 seasons in total, because it's Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon S, Sailor Moon Super S, and then Eternal Sailor Moon.
Some stars.
Okay.
Oh, Stars. Sorry, Sailor Stars. Yeah.
Well,
so that. So there are 5 seasons.
Okay, because I'm thinking maybe kind of, because there are certain things. I love Sailor Moon. I own a couple of T-shirts. That's how you know it's for real for me. I think I'm still I'm still intrigued by the lore of it, because there's like a civilization on the moon. Yes. Right. And then Usagi, the main character, Sailor Moon, she's the moon princess, right?
Yes, that was like season 1, one of season 1's like first big reveal that everybody was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that blew my 11-year-old brain.
Right. So I think it's like, I always kind of get confused with like the present and the future and the reincarnation.
Okay, so there's a couple things that I definitely want to clarify. Actually, there's 3 things. Let's start. So there's the manga, which is where all the source material came from. And the manga ran from 91 to 97 by Naoko Takeuchi. And fun fact, she actually got her degree in chemistry, which inspired the naming for a lot of her villains as like particles, minerals, and gemstones
that
and
makes
elements.
so much sense.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So that was pretty neat. And but the manga is definitely plot driven. You're getting, because the way that stories are told in manga format, like a lot of it is serialized and it's kind of by popularity, so you want to kind of cram in as much as you can and make people want to read more per chapter. So the story you get is very condensed. It's just things are happening and the lore is insane, which is what made the 90s anime, I think, so special. And I do have of course I'm gonna have a soft spot for the 90s anime, but the 90s anime was coming out at the same time as the manga. So basically they would catch up to the manga and they'd have to do filler episodes because she hadn't written the next segments yet. So I think with that we got to really explore the character development and the connections, and
Yeah.
you get the character and the heart, I think, of Sailor Moon in the anime.
It's almost like a reverse adaptation, because usually I feel like the manga was the movie, and the TV series was like, well, you know, like I said, a movie got the TV series, so that there's more character development. You got more of a sense of who these characters were, and what I liked about Sailor Moon, because I remember like kind of talking to some people about it, and some misconceptions that they had about like Usagi, like, oh, you know, she's lazy, she's in love with Mamoru, aka Tuxedo Mask, and whatever. And I said, well, she is all of those things, but you know, she's loyal, she fights for her friends, she believes in love, but she can get away with being lazy because Usagi doesn't represent like the female population. Because you have all these different female characters who have different interests and different personalities, and it was great to kind of see that get expanded in the show. I don't know what happened to Rob.
I'm still
either.
here. My camera just died.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So yes, that was my comment.
Well, so and then the third element to this is Sailor Moon Crystal. Now, this kind of revitalized the love for Sailor Moon in the late 2000s. Well, yeah, whatever. Where we're at now, wherever we are, whatever year it is, the future. So Sailor Moon Crystal is a redo of the anime series, but it is closer to the original source content. So the source material, I mean, like the manga. So for people who really just kind of want that raw data of what Sailor Moon is and what the lore is, Sailor Moon Crystal is a fabulous, like, entry point. But if you want, I think what the heart of it, and like, I think what everybody, and I know I'm very biased, but I think, like, you know, our age range and our friends, like, what they loved about Sailor Moon is all going to be in the 90s anime. Yeah. And if you really want to give yourself a fun, just like time challenge, is watch the original English dub, because it is hilariously bad.
That's what I'm currently doing.
Oh, the names are
Mina,
so like
Lita.
Mina, Lita. I mean, Amy and Ray are pretty much the same, but it was, instead of Ami, it's Amy, and Usagi is Serena.
Oh, that must be different dub than I'm watching, because the English dub I'm watching, it is like Usagi, and they have all the Japanese names. So it must have been an updated one since.
Maybe because
a bit more culturally sensitive.
Yeah, because Mamoru was Darien.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
Darien, and there was so much. Whenever she would like just cry his name, she'd be like Darien.
Oh my god.
Oh,
it's like
Lord.
Chibiusa was
it was a
Rini.
lot. Oh yeah, Rini. It was just weird. It was weird, but there's something that it warms the heart. It's so bad. But
I wanted to say, because I don't think we got to ask Chandler this, but Chandler, what was your introduction to Sailor Moon?
Oh,
I know,
yeah, similar to Angela. Like, I watched
it
like in the 90s, like on like early in the morning, like 6 or 7 in the morning. And then I watched it on Toonami when I got a little bit older.
That's what it was.
Yeah, same path.
Yeah. Was that a gateway drug for you into other
totally. Yeah.
anime?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, by the time Pokemon came out, everybody,
gone.
all the kids in the class thought like I was like an old wise one, because I knew the ways of anime, because I knew Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. So when Pokemon came out, everyone's like, "Oh, tell us, tell us, what is this?"
How would you describe Sailor Moon? Because for somebody like me, 5 or 6 years ago, that saw it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. They're like girls in sailor school outfits with magic. Like, how would you, like, if you had to give like a pilot pitch about what this show is, you know, because I would love to kind of hear how, because I've tried to talk about, I'm like, well, it's about this girl, she's in school, she meets a talking cat, she's a reincarnated moon princess, I'm doing this wrong.
It's the original, I think it's the original power of friendship story.
I'm also like a huge Power Rangers fan, so it's also like kind of like an easy transition as well, of like color coded heroes fighting together. Yeah, that's kind of how I would describe it.
Yeah, so I've only watched like 7 or 8 episodes from the 90s anime. whatever version of the dub Hulu has.
It's the good
And
stuff.
it is-
mean, that first season is gold.
Yeah, so this is literally my first introduction to anything other than just what I've absorbed through nerd osmosis. And just my first takeaway from the very first episode is that it is so charming. Like, it is hard to not just like laugh at how like genuine it is in its campiness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like every time, like in the dub anyway, like when Usagi transforms, she's just like, I'm the pretty fighter or whatever. Like whatever she says, it's hilarious. And then the music kicks in, which is amazing. And yeah, I don't know. It has all that stuff from 90s anime that I like. Just like the goofy facial expressions and wackiness of it. But then like at least I forget the character's name, the evil queen that they fight throughout the first like block of
Beryl.
episodes.
Barrel.
Burl.
Yeah,
Barrel.
she's
Brazil?
like
Bear Grylls.
horrifying looking, and
is.
she
Yeah.
like turns into this crazy like makes like an axe like Carnage does in Spider-Man out of her like weird flesh hands.
And apparently she's the only villain and out of all the seasons that had the most screen time.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I mean, in every episode I watched, she would show up, and then at least just to like send one of her minions out. But like
Yeah.
the character design for like the bad guys, anyways, like pretty dark, which I thought was interesting. And then like when they go to fight, and then she always just throws her like crown, and then like they just like turn to dust and all kinds of. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got like that fun. There's like a fight at the end of every episode, but then
Yeah.
like each episode has a little like story arc and character stuff where they're meeting up with new sailors or
Dude,
whatever
just
throughout
wait.
the episodes.
Just wait till the stakes start getting really fucking real, and you're like, "Whoa, what?
and they're taking
What?
people's dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dreams? Their fucking lives?
Yeah, their
Like,
heart crystals. Yeah, it's everything that makes us
'cause
special.
there's a certain
Yeah.
point in the first season where I was like, "Whoa, okay, we went from like Cutesville to fucking." Like,
I think it was. I mean, I definitely got like a stronger sense of the drama, like because we joke about like the X-Men, like in the cartoon, the '90s cartoon in
soap
particular.
opera.
About being like Days of Our Lives for children. I feel like Sailor Moon took it to another level because unlike the X-Men where everything was just kind of every episode was just like a big fight scene because they needed to keep the action because how else were they going to get boys interested in anything as unless they're all fighting each other. And with Sailor Moon, I mean, there was an ebb and flow. And so when things went down, I mean, you felt it. You felt like I remember the first season finale, and this is spoiler for season 1, when everyone died. I was just like, holy crap. And their ghosts are talking to Sailor Moon, encouraging her to keep going and don't let them like die in vain or whatever.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I had never seen anything like it.
that blew my mind at 29. Being like, "What the fuck?"
They died. Like, yeah, I remember in the first initial run of season 1, and they changed it later because I think it was just the first run where they did this, but when Usagi realizes that she is the Moon Princess and Mamoru is kidnapped by Queen Beryl and she has that like breakdown, Sailor Mars just walks up to her and smacks her in the face and is like, snap out of it. And when I saw that, I was like 9 at the time or whatever. I was just like, oh my God, like that. It was, shit is real. It is real.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Tuxedo Mask because I think he's really a fascinating character. One, he shows up to these crime scenes or these events in a fucking tuxedo and a top hat, a cape, and like a white domino mask.
Yeah.
But he does not intervene.
No,
He
he
just
will
shows-
not solve the problem.
He'll
He's just
throw
there
a
for
rose,
Cheerleader.
give his 2 cents, like, "I believe in you."
Yeah, he's just
and
there
then
for emotional
dips.
support.
Yeah.
As he
He's
should.
just there for emotional
As he
support.
should.
I think it's great. I just wonder about the
Or
logistics.
he's the damsel in distress.
Good.
He
Right.
gets kidnapped the most out of everybody.
I just love. We were watching one episode. I'm like, how does this fucking dude like? Does his tuxedo mask tingle? Like, imagine getting dressed. He's like, "Oh, I gotta hop on a bus, take an Uber." Like,
So-
you got this. I gotta go.
Speaking of bus, one of the episodes I did watch was the I think it's the introduction to Sailor Mars.
Yes.
And where there's like a demon who picks people up in a bus and then drives them into like the evil zone
dimension.
Where they like
And there's
suck
just
their
buses.
energy. They literally just get on a bus, and then at one point like Usagi
kidnap
gets on the
people.
bus and she's like fighting in this weird zone, and then towards the end Tuxedo Mask comes in another bus driving it, and he's like, get on in everybody. And I'm like, what?
Dude, just wait until you get to like the Sailor Scouts that have a fucking helicopter, and you're like, how did they get a helicopter and how did they learn to fly it? They're 15. Like,
Don't
what
ask
is going
questions.
My
on?
power is convenience.
Yeah,
Deus Machina.
it's amazing.
Every character I've met has just been like funny, and
Yeah.
I just keep saying charming. Like the few glimpses of like Usagi's parents I've seen are just delightful.
Yeah.
And then like
Her little brother.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's there is magic in that first season, absolutely. And I think the personally, and I don't know, Chandler, you can definitely I mean, I would love to hear your opinion on this, but I personally think the strongest relationship and the best relationship portrayed in the anime is that between Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars.
I like that. Yeah, she's kind of like the Lancer to her hero archetype. Yeah, totally. Nope, I completely agree.
Like the
Yeah.
closest friends, like
the
they
one who
because they
calls her on her
don't.
shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
because
Rough
Sailor
around the edges because Usagi's very cute and pretty. And
Well, and Sailor Mars starts dating Mamoru in the beginning. She
Period.
starts dating him first before Usagi does. So it's like, and there's like a little weird jealousy thing with that,
Betty
and
Veronica
like,
dichotomy.
yeah, it is really interesting, and I mean, clearly, like, you know, Sailor Mars is, you know, definitely more talented, definitely stronger, definitely like more capable than Usagi is. But Usagi, like the passion,
she's the heart of the team.
the Usagi is the heart of the team, and the passion and her inability to give up is what kind of keeps everyone together, is because Usagi doesn't really care what the odds are. She's just like, well, we're going to try anyway.
I feel like Usagi is the reminder of what they're all fighting for, because she kind of has that impenetrable like innocence. Like no matter what, she's like hopelessly optimistic, and I feel like that kind of reminds the other girls like this is what we're fighting for, is to kind of preserve people like her and kind of to protect them from that outer darkness.
And one of the things, and I keep going on these tangents, but there's just such an amazing thing about seeing these three-dimensional characters, because every single one of them has a strength, but every single one of them has a glaring flaw, and it doesn't define them, and in fact they each find those things charming about each other.
Right.
You know, so the fact that Usagi is so selfish, and she is always crying, and she's lazy as hell, and they make fun of her for it, but they also are like endeared to her for it. So it's just, there's something beautiful about that. And like Sailor Venus is, she wants to be a pop star, but also there's a loneliness with her. She had to do all of this. She was doing this on her own before everybody. She didn't have the...
That's a good point to bring up.
Yeah.
Because she had her own comic before.
Well, Sailor Moon, before Usagi idolized Sailor Venus. Before Usagi even got her powers and realized who she was, Sailor V was out doing her thing. And she was like in London at one point, and she had her own weird like love triangle, and she had to pretty much sacrifice her life and her dreams and her goals because she was really into volleyball, and she had to stop
To be a child
because she was
soldier.
too busy. Yeah, to be a child soldier basically with a cat. You know?
But they look amazing.
They do.
That's what I was going to ask too about how, so they're reincarnated from the civilization on the moon.
Okay, so
Was there water on the moon for them to
Yes.
be sailors?
well, so there was
This is a legitimate question.
no,
too, by
so
the way.
it's the Silver Millennium was in ancient times. There was an entire like species of people that lived on the moon and lived in the universe in our solar system, and Mamoru was a prince. Well, a prince. There were multiple princes, but he was a prince on Earth. and Usagi fell in love with him. She was a princess on the moon, he was a prince on Earth, and they had this little like love story. Now, the other Sailor Senshi, Sailor soldiers, are princesses of their own planet. So Sailor Jupiter is the princess of Jupiter. Sailor Venus is the princess of Venus, that kind of thing. And, but the inner Senshi, so that's Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, are basically guardians to the princess. Mm-hmm. They're there to protect her, and they're like her like personal little guard. And in the manga, it's a lot clearer about this because Sailor Venus is their leader, and she's got a sword, and it's like, you know, and they all have their special powers. And then the outer Senshi, Sailor Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn, basically were supposed to protect the Silver Millennium. Like they were supposed to protect everyone in the Silver Millennium from outer threats, from outside of the solar system. Mm-hmm. So like the really big bads that like have been coming through, weren't technically supposed to get that far.
Got it.
Because they're supposed to handle the big
like
stuff.
One of them
like
was
that.
like a baby. So.
Yeah. Well, Sailor Saturn is like they're all the outer Senshi are pretty tragic, but Sailor Saturn it's way more powerful than the inner Senshi, but and even Sailor Moon sometimes. Most of the time. I mean, Sailor Saturn is the most powerful of all, but unfortunately with her power, she can destroy. She's basically the Death Star. And every time she uses her power, she can destroy an entire planet, but she dies in the process and has to be reborn. So it's you know, there's a lot of lore there. And for people who, you know, want to get a little bit more info, there's an amazing resource. It's called the Complete Sailor Moon Timeline, and it's by a YouTube channel that's kind of not really making videos anymore. I think they just kind of changed their name, but it's called Get in the Robot. And it's like a mega timeline of all of the events of Sailor Moon from like the beginning to end, and not in the chronological order of the series, but in like the actual like history of time.
That's cool.
Like it's really cool, and it's a lot. So if you have no idea what's going on, you might want to, you know, go the traditional route and just watch the episodes. And the other resource was the one that Rob gave us by Odd Lasdo, the filler reduced viewing guide to Sailor Moon on medium.com, which is really good. If you want like just kind of more of like a condensed version of like, okay, I don't want to watch every single episode because there is a lot of filler. But you should.
Yeah.
So
I have been jumping around kind of following the recommended list.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I haven't had a hard time really following what's happening because most of what's not recommended is just strictly like Monster of the Week or filler episodes.
Yeah. Personally, I think the hardest season for me to get through was Sailor Moon S. That was a really hard season to get through. I felt like the others just kind of flowed a lot better, but I thought Sailor Moon S that season, I didn't think the animation was as strong, and I didn't think that the story was it was, the filler was a lot more obvious. They didn't really use that time to like expand on any character growth like they did in Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon R. So, which is unfortunate, but that's just my opinion.
It's like the Dragon Ball Z episodes where Goku and Piccolo get their driver's license. You're like, this is the most filler-ass filler.
It's good world building.
It is. I mean, the lore of Sailor Moon is pretty phenomenal, and it's out of control.
Ancient aliens
but
fall in love with the Earth.
It is ancient aliens,
Prince.
basically. That is the lore of Sailor Moon, is just ancient aliens.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I'm down for that because I mean it's
a prettier ancient aliens.
well, and it works too, and you know there's like something, and I kind of like that. It's not. I mean, yeah, some of it is like wish fulfillment. You know, like being 12 years old and wishing you had these powers. But I like that it's up to them to save the day because they are the only ones who have that power. You know, they kind of thrust a little too too early.
All right, so let me ask you guys, who is your favorite Sailor Scout and why?
who's the nerd?
Sailor Mercury,
the-
Amy.
Yeah, the
Mercury.
water one. I
Yeah.
like her. I think she's
blue.
cute. Yeah, and I like she's got her little tech glasses and she's got her like wrist laptop thing. Or no, she's got like a little
Yeah, no,
Palm
she's got
Pilot,
like
yeah.
little wrist thing.
yeah, I just like that she's like, because you gotta have one on the team, right? You gotta have the strategist, I always
She's the Donatello.
yeah, I liked her. And who's the other one who likes to cook? The tall one?
Oh, Sailor Jupiter.
I like her too. I'd be friends with her because I'd have her cook me stuff. But I like that she's kind of like a
She's like the tough guy, and she's like
Yeah.
the big, strong one. She's the fighter, but she is the girliest. She wants to like have a flower shop and cook and be a homemaker and.
yeah. And I know there's some people who would be like, oh, like why would you have like a female character like that? But it's again, it's because there's so many different girls with different personalities that it's like it's. I don't know. It rounds about and it's realistic.
And different body types, because I do have to jump in with this. They do have technically different body types. You can't really tell because it's anime and everybody looks the same. But technically, and I think Chandler can agree with me, Usagi is the fat one.
She's a little chubby. The way they also draw her super deformed all the time, but like it kind of just carries over.
And they really make it a point to kind of shame her a little bit with the amount that she eats and like that she's the one that doesn't fit the outfit the best. They kind of make fun of her for being the fat one, but it's. Yeah, so
That's funny because
it's pretty great.
I'll have to.
It's one of my favorite things about the 90s
Fat shaming the
anime is
protagonist.
that they do, but it's hilarious because she can't like. There was this whole episode of her just trying to like lose weight, and she keeps eating donuts, and like she can't stop.
We've all been there.
That's so funny.
We all stress eat,
I didn't realize that she was maybe by like anime standards, like she's chubby because I thought she was
Yeah, no, they have entire episodes dedicated to fat shaming her.
damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I've only been introduced to 3 so far in my viewing. Usagi, Mercury, you said is the nerdy one,
Yeah,
and Mars. And I guess
I like Mars too.
Mars is cool because I've only seen like one episode with her, but basically first episode she's like throwing fireballs and shit. I'm like, that's pretty bad.
She's like the only one with like
Yeah.
actual superpowers.
She does,
Yeah, just like right away she's straight up like throwing fireballs. I'm like, that's rad.
And she gets premonitions. Like she can like see the future and shit. Like she talks to like spirits. Like
Damn, like yeah, shit, she could have her own show.
she could. She really could. She is the most talented, I think, out of all of them.
Like,
But yeah, I mean, like I said, every character they've introduced so far has been very like memorable. So I could see
Yes.
as like the team grows, they maintain that like likability and stuff of all the characters. That's promising.
that is the thing. They are all likable, all charming.
Chandler, who you got?
Growing up, I really liked Sailor Mercury because I loved her weird British accent.
Oh God, I forgot that they
had a
did
British
that.
accent?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
then as I got older, I started liking Venus more because she's kind of pig-headed and funny. So I like her a lot.
Oh yeah. I think definitely the episodes with just Usagi and Sailor Venus just getting into shit together because that's just all they do.
Yeah, they're
just,
like enablers. They're codependent enablers.
oh,
I
they're
love it.
such enablers. They're so good.
That is such a great show. I mean,
It is.
yeah. I mean, because the great thing about it, too is that it's rewatchable. There are some shows where it's like, they either kind of beef the ending or it's satisfying, but not something you kind of want to do again. But Sailor Moon is definitely something that, and I feel like you would catch more.
And there is some cringe. There is some problematic stuff with Sailor Moon that I think we should address. And that is the fact that I got the sense when I read the manga that Mamoru was a high school student and she was technically a middle school student, but she was like 14. So it's like she was transitioning into high school. So they were closer in age than, say, I got the impression in the anime where he was like an adult.
Yeah, they write him and draw him very mature.
He was an adult.
Yeah, it's hard to. I have no idea how old anybody is. They all. look the same age. Like,
Yeah, they're supposed to be 14.
yeah, they've mentioned that, but then like when Usagi is just like, I'll turn into like a TV reporter.
Oh
and
yeah,
she
those are
transforms
cool
and just
like
looks into
powers
like
in the first season.
The disguise pen does not get enough
I know.
use.
They
Yeah,
like
the
so
dis-
trash.
She's
I guess
used it
the
3
first
times
season
so
they
far.
stopped using that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's really
yes,
cool.
and then yeah, in the episodes I've seen, she turned into like a TV reporter. She turned
Yeah.
into a flight attendant for the bus randomly. She gets on the bus and she's like, "Listen to me," and they're like, "No."
I did like it when she used it to get into a nightclub.
No, no.
That was a fun episode. Yeah.
Oh, man. See, I'm
they
gonna have
didn't
to-
air that in the States.
That's-
That is
that's
something you
probably I don't
will
know
have to
about
see
it,
in
yeah.
the original sub. Yeah, she does use it. It's like the 3rd episode. That's like first thing she does with it.
I mean,
Is
I
like,
would too.
I'm gonna get into. She goes to a bar, like a like to watch like a jazz like piano player. It's like so weird.
It's also very 90s.
It is very 90s. I love that the most about it, though. Yeah.
It was 90s nostalgia for a different decade.
Wait, Angela, who's your favorite scout?
I mean, growing up, it was Sailor Moon all the way. She was the first character that I saw that I could relate to because I, too, am lazy and selfish and dramatic and not as much of the crybaby, but I do stress eat and I am I've always been more interested in boys than, like my future. I'm always, or my well-being and just as a functioning adult. And I'm just like, ew, boys, So I got that and I was like, oh my God, like she's speaking to me. Like, I mean, just the fact that that was the first time I saw a girl play video games with Sailor Moon.
That's
I'd never
right.
seen that.
Can we talk about the lair underneath the arcade?
Yes, in the manga. You're not getting that in the cartoon, but in the manga, I mean, Crystal does it, but there is.
In the few episodes I've seen, there was a scene where Luna went to the arcade and spoke into a microphone on one of the arcade cabinets, and then I forget what happened. Like a door opened.
In the manga, there is an entire layer in the arcade that they operate out of, and it's pretty spiffy. And
I also want to know where the hell it came from. Who built it?
Dude, ancient
Was it
aliens,
like-
man.
ancient aliens.
Did they? Yeah, maybe it was like they built it there and they somehow had like a subconscious energy thing. Like, for some reason, I have to build an arcade here.
It was Japan in the 90s. There's arcades everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Was
And the
with
cats,
secret
and
bases.
the cats
Exactly.
ran the secret base. The cats ran it. Luna and Artemis are, I think, really the MVP because they're the ones that kind of got everything together, and they existed they weren't reborn, weren't they? Or were they reborn?
I don't know
Because
if
I
they were
thought they
reborn.
just existed in the Silver Millennium and then were just sent to Earth.
Yeah, they get our girls together every episode.
They gotta wake everybody up.
Yeah, in the first episode, Sailor Moon just pulls out that Band-Aid from Luna's forehead, and Luna's like, "Oh shit, thank you. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way,
Oh,
you're Sailor Moon."
Yeah, because Artemis finds Sailor Venus first because she's the leader, and then Luna found Sailor Moon, thinking that they were all trying to find the princess, and then, spoiler, Rob, Sailor Venus poses as the Moon Princess, and she says that she's the Moon Princess to be like a decoy, and it kind of works a little too well because Usagi tries to like save
That
her
makes sense while she's a leader.
and like put herself in danger, and then Venus is like, no.
It's also she's a Leo.
No, so it makes sense why she's
What?
like the inner senshi leader because she can be
I
the
thought
decoy
it makes
because
sense.
they
She's a-
have the same hair color and
She's
eye
the
color.
decoy. Yep.
I thought you said it makes sense. She's a Leo.
I think so. She might
Actually, we can't. No,
be. She's
I
probably a
actually
Libra.
know they're they have very detailed basically bios on everybody.
Which I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. I love like well thought out lore
oh
and
yeah,
backstory.
oh yeah. So, guess who's the Aries?
Obviously, Sailor Mars.
There you go. Luna is a Taurus.
Oh, Taurus gang.
Sailor Moon. Oh, this is wrong. It says Sailor Chibi Moon is a Gemini, but she's not. She's a Cancer because she and Usagi have the same birthday. I'm nerdier than Google.
Oh my god, Usagi's totally a
But yeah,
Cancer. So Usagi's totally a Cancer.
Oh yeah, she's a total Cancer. Tuxedo Mask is a Leo.
Oh.
So he's
a little too quiet.
my Leo
He's a little
brother.
too quiet for a Leo.
He's way too fucking quiet for. But then again,
He wears a tuxedo.
he wears
true.
a
And throws
tuxedo
roses.
to do nothing.
Yes.
To actually show up and
That
do
is extra.
Yes,
nothing.
no.
He is the king of extra.
And when he had amnesia and he was fucking Desert Rose or
Moonlight
some
Knight.
shit.
Oh my god. His subconscious projected itself into the real world as an Arabian Night.
And that's a Scream Leo. I don't know what does.
I don't know.
I dream of rain. That's all. When I first saw him, I was like, Q Sting's Desert Rose.
Yeah, so yeah, Venus is a Libra. Who else we got? Mercury is a Virgo.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Who else we got? Sailor Jupiter is a Sagittarius.
Of course, Jupiter.
Got some more of that fire energy. Sailor Saturn is a Capricorn. Makes sense.
Yeah, these are all like the
Work
these are like all
yourself
like the
to
ruling
death.
planets of the signs.
Yeah. Uranus is Aquarius. Pisces is
Of course.
Neptune. You know, and Pluto is a Scorpio.
Yep, those are
So,
all the ruling planets. Makes sense.
all the ruling planets.
There you go.
And but yeah, fun fact. So Tuxedo Mask being a Leo, ruled by the sun because he's a prince of Earth. So there is a silver crystal and there is a gold crystal.
I didn't know that.
There is a gold crystal, and basically, Mamoru is the carrier of the gold crystal. And even more fun fact, which I really wish they expanded on. I wish they could just do a whole series about this. But the original henchmen of Queen Beryl were originally like Mamoru's guardians.
Oh my
So they were what the Sailor Guardians are to Sailor Moon. They were to Tuxedo Mask, and they all had love affairs with the Sailor Scouts.
Yes. Oh my god.
And I feel like those stories, like, because we know that two of them
This
are
is
like
giving life.
gay for each other. We know two of them, Malachite and Zoisite, had a relationship with each other. So I just want that whole story. I just want to know what happened with
They
them.
can be bi. It's fine.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, whatever. Who cares? You know, you're a space warrior. You do what you want. But I want those stories. I want to know what happened with that.
Who is paired with who? I want to know.
Oh, Sailor Venus, I think, was with Malachite.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna pull it up. I don't know because they don't really explore it. It's just kind of like mentioned as a throwaway in the manga, and I'm like, wait, what?
This is like a whole like we've unearthed like a whole new like section of story potential. Like
I know. So yeah, there's like a lot. There's a lot there, and so the manga is great for that and the lore. But it just kind of info dumps it on you, so it's not as fun.
like, here.
Personally, they're like, here. Oh, and this happened, and we're like, wait, what?
Keep it moving. On to the next thing.
Keep it moving. We got shit to do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then it gets weird when their daughter from the future shows up and starts macking on her dad.
That's when I got really
weird.
confused.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. But in the manga, I guess Sailor Pluto had a crush on King Endymion, which is Mamoru.
You know, I love me a triangle.
So there's a
he
love
was-
triangle with that.
He was a king too?
Yeah, he's the king in the future.
Oh, I thought he was just a prince in the future. No,
No,
he's a prince in the past.
He's a prince in the past,
Oh,
a king
Jesus.
in the future. Him and Usagi rule over Crystal Tokyo.
prince in the past, king of the future.
Yeah.
Confused.
Ancient
Always.
immortal aliens.
Ancient immortal aliens. But they don't explain how, because they say something happens because it jumps from the 21st century to the 30th century. The world is put in a deep freeze, and Sailor Moon, as Neo Queen Serenity, breaks the freeze and brings the world back to life.
So some
And
apocalyptic
everyone's
event.
like, why?
There's like an apocalyptic event. We don't know. So it jumps from like the 21st century to the
That's
30th
more story
century.
potential.
So yeah, so Sailor, so their daughter is from the 30th century. So she old.
I'm just
That's some
thinking of
like
that.
Jean Grey, Cyclops, Cable level nonsense.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh
It
my
really
god,
is.
she's Cable. I love it.
I'm just imagining like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny, you know, with like the red thread and all the paper, like
Yeah.
looking crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
how I.
And there are
that's-
the movies too that are canon and tie into the story as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
I'm all about that canon.
gotta love those movies. So yeah, so the new movie on Netflix is basically the final. It's not Sailor Star. It's Eternal.
It was like basically all of like Super S condensed into like one movie.
It's basically its essence. I feel like it's Super S condensed because in the '90s anime, once they get to Super S, the anime goes in a completely different direction. They give the gold crystal to Helios, the Pegasus. Yeah, there's a Pegasus. Buckle up, guys.
Hot Pegasus
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Pegasus flying with his horn out there alone.
Yeah, so Chibiusa, the daughter, has like a relationship with the Pegasus boy.
Of course.
Well, it's better than macking on her dad.
Yeah, very necessary. Give her a new love
She needs
interest.
something. Yeah, she needs something else. That's
Yeah,
messed
it's
up.
like going into some weird like Oedipus type, like kill the mom, marry the dad, ride the Pegasus.
Chandler, do you have a favorite villain?
I actually like the like cuz I've watched a lot of Super S cuz like they keep like replaying it. So I really like the Jungle Trio. They're really cool. Yeah. I love how they always
Yeah.
get cross-dressed and like disguise themselves.
Well, I guess in the manga, Fisheye is a boy,
Okay, yeah.
not a girl.
But he always like dresses up as a chick. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the anime, they just made her a girl. But yeah, no, I gotta say, I gotta go with the weird ancestral alien twins in the Doom Tree. You remember that?
I missed that season actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
What?
remember them.
Get
That's like the
out
Hotaru
of
season,
here.
Oh,
No.
which one is that?
No, it's right before Chibiusa comes down.
I
It's
have a
right
huge
after
gap.
Queen
Gotta go
Beryl.
back and watch.
Yeah, right after Queen Beryl, before Chibiusa. There's like it's like a short little story arc. It was all like a filler season, but it was super fun.
It's Chibiosa, not Chibiosa.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, so any questions?
No, I'm gonna keep chipping away at it. It's a good show to just kind of like occasionally throw on.
And it's a
on
good
doing
show to
stuff
like
and-
watch at the end of a rough work day. Like
Hells
you
yeah.
just need something cute. And I love the music. Like what's that music they play when like Usagi kind of gives you like a preview of what's to come on the show. I love that. It was like a violin like
Oh yeah, and they're showing like people getting murdered and like
Yeah.
it's like
It's like why like it's like
all
it's like I
fun.
hear the music, I feel like I should be watching like a Ken Burns like documentary that it's like bright bubbly anime and people getting punched through walls.
people
It's
getting like
what?
stabbed and it's like doo-doo-doo-doo. It's all happy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the music's great in general. It's
I love
Oh,
the disco.
God, it
It's so
is.
good.
The disco's amazing. I like the once they get the dirty saxophone going, that
Oh
gets
my
really
God.
fun.
love me some sax.
Yeah, and but it's great. It's LGBTQ friendly,
Totally.
gender bending.
Yep.
It's definitely like action, romance, feminist. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. There are episodes that will genuinely make you laugh.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
I
it's-
definitely found it funny. Like I said,
Because Usagi does some sketchy shit. Dirtbag Usagi was a meme for a long time for
She's
a
a
reason
dirtbag,
because
isn't
she is such a dirtbag. She was the Zach Morris of the series. I mean, wow.
She gets better. She matures.
She does. She matures, but I mean, her dirtbag moments are pretty glorious.
What's your favorite attack?
Fantastic.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the classic, the Tiara attack, because she used to cut people in half with that.
she turns people to dust with that tiara.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would have to go with the I did like the I mean Pluto's dead scream.
Oh, that was cool.
You're like, what? With her huge ass forehead. Oh,
No, I like the one with the two lesbians too, where it's like a I just love how it was animated. It was like, like
The
that
planet.
rolling ball. Yeah, that was dope. I thought it was really cool. I also like something heart attack.
Yeah, Heartache. I love that one. Yeah,
Heartache.
Rainbow Moon Heartache.
I like
The one is like a heart attack.
yeah, no,
Like, ta-da, heart attack, and then like cute pose.
yeah. I think I gotta say, I think Sailor Mercury gets the prettiest. Like I think she is the prettiest visually attacks.
Okay.
She gets the harp at that one point. You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
When she
yeah,
gets the harp,
yeah.
and then the Shine Aqua illusion where it's just the water like swirling around her. She's got the bubbles.
She
gets
has the
cute
most
stuff.
attacks, I think.
She has like she's got the really pretty stuff. I think that Sailor Mars gets the devastating stuff because I remember that first season when they all die, and it wasn't Mars, it was Sailor Venus who does the beam on that chick's forehead.
She shoots lasers.
When she does her beam like right through her forehead is crazy. I was
I like her
"What?"
attacks. They're really simple. I like her the heart
Yeah.
one that she like throws it. That's really cool too.
I like the love me
Yeah.
chain. I think is fun. Their attacks are great. Their transformations are great. I love it all.
So Sailor Moon, check it out. What's it on Hulu?
Yeah, the 90s anime is all on Hulu.
And the movie's on Netflix.
Yes.
Is some of the newer animation on Netflix
Crystal's
too, or
on
is it just
Netflix.
the movies?
It's
Crystal's
This was on Netflix, and all of the 90s anime is the complete, even the Sailor Stars, because that was not released in
I gotta watch
America
that.
previously for syndication, because I guess the end fight scene, they're all naked, and they were like, we're not doing that.
The gender bending.
and the guys that turn into girls, because Sailor, fun fact, only women can be Sailor Senshi. Men cannot. So the Sailor Stars are in a boy band, and then they turn into women when they turn into Sailor
Works
Senshi.
for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I guess in the manga, they're girls the whole time.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But they have like a love triangle with the one with the black hair,
this
and Usagi.
Oh.
Yeah,
Starfighter.
yeah, Starfighter and Usagi have like our little
Interesting.
thing, which
She
is
kind of
nice.
looks like Mamoru anyway, so
He does. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff.
That's good stuff.
And that's the only season I have not seen.
Okay.
I'm working up to it. There's something about like watching it. I'm like, then it's over, and now it can. I just can't. I never want it to end.
forever.
The listeners cannot see the facial expression I'm making.
Well,
That is
in a way, though, it has it because
disturbing.
I mean the fact that that it's gone on the way that it is with the new movies and animation, so it's definitely shining on. So who knows? And hopefully, hopefully
I feel like Sailor Moon is the only fandom that I would actually write fan fiction for.
Yes.
Like seriously, I would put my heart and soul into telling Sailor Moon stories.
Yeah.
I would write novels.
Well, I mean, you know it so well too.
Like, and it wouldn't be, because you know how fan fiction usually when people write it, it's like all about the sex and the pairings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. No, none of it would be about the sex. It's about the relationships and,
Do it.
the friendship.
Do it.
I'm not going to do that. But if I ever come into a lot of money, hell yeah, I'll do it. If I could just sit on my ass and write like Sailor Moon fan fiction all day, I would.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I write fan fiction every day in my head, but I feel like you won't know this.
Yeah.
Every time I watch
Well, you
it-
tell us about it
I know. I'm
Write
sorry.
it down.
in every episode.
They're like, "What are you watching?" Well, I'll tell you what I've been doing. But yeah, what have we been watching and reading and doing, and what's making us happy?
Ted Lasso.
Hell yeah, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, when you said you were watching that finally, I was very happy because, boy, is that just the best.
It really is. I did not think I would get so excited about a show about football, like English football. And it's so delightful.
Are you watching it, Chandler?
No, but I will.
Oh,
you
it's
gotta.
I don't want
delightful.
to cry though.
It's really.
It's
Oh,
not
it's-
going to make you cry.
okay.
And if it does make you
it's a
cry,
feel-good.
it's like one of the it's like a feel good cry. You're just like,
It's
they're
like a
such good
heartwarming-
people.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's
happy.
refreshing. Yeah.
It's happy. You're so happy watching
It's
it.
like good people being good, and then like when there's somebody who's an asshole, the good people like
When
deal with it like adults, and then everybody's
Yeah.
just like, oh wow, okay.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, you know that mean thing you did? I forgive you.
Yeah, it's like that was mean,
Like
but you know what?
things, yeah, like things you think would be like big plot points are gonna pan out. Like it like sidesteps it. It's really
it's great.
Jason Sudeikis is fucking phenomenal in it. I can't believe the woman who plays his boss. She's the fucking shame lady
Yeah.
from Game of Thrones. That fucking blew my mind.
She's
'cause
fabulous.
She's hot in that show.
Yes.
Wow.
She's beautiful. Yeah.
The power of
I
costuming.
was like, damn. Yeah. I was like, the only thing that was shameful was I didn't check this out soon.
They just finished filming season 2, and that comes out in July. So
on
I
Angel's birthday.
am so excited. I was like, I'm pretty sure whatever free trial I got of Apple TV Plus will be up by then, but that show will make me re-up my subscription for however long.
I think it's worth it because
Yeah.
that show is just delightful. Yeah, I'm glad I jumped onto that. Just some of this, I mean, it just makes you feel so good.
Exactly. It's just like, and it was coming out like in the middle of last year, and it's just like, this is the most anti-2020 show of all time.
Yeah. It really it's so
Yeah.
funny because at certain points in the show it's like, well, man, this is 2020. I'm like, is it though? It's like alternate reality 2020.
Yeah.
I wish I was in that 2020.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that was 2020.
Yeah. No. Be a goldfish, Sam. Be a goldfish. So good. Yeah.
All right, what are you guys watching?
What have I been watching? Other than like Loki, which we've talked about, I haven't been watching too much stuff. I did just start reading the second book in the Dark Tower series. I know Paul will enjoy that.
Me too.
Like 50 pages in. I gotta say,
Oh, I gotta get on it.
it
Then, for
it
book club.
definitely reads more like a book.
Yes. Way more cohesive.
Yeah, so like I think it does a good job of kicking the book off where he like wakes up on the beach and that weird crab monster starts like biting his fingers and shit off. So like right off the bat I was like, oh okay, this shit's getting into it.
That's what I mean, like, because the book definitely has. Because I feel like with the first book, because it was like he wrote it for a magazine and it was serialized, it kind of feels like that. But the book, it's way much more cohesive. There's definitely more urgency.
Yeah, and, but like I haven't even like not much has happened plot wise, but like I said, I'm like 50 pages in, and he just found that door or something, if you know what that means, on the beach or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And that's, but I was like, I kept reading, and I was like, all
That's
right,
good.
so
And Chandler's reading it.
They're at the bar.
Oh my god, I'm forming a quartet. It's great.
Yay.
Which is not how Roland says it, but that's how I do.
How does he say it?
I don't know. This is my quartet, or I don't know. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm like, hey, quartet. All set with my quartet.
Content with your content.
Chandler.
That didn't rhyme.
Chandler, what are you checking out?
I've been My Hero Academia, catching up on that. I'm also trying to like catch up on the X-Men books because I'm like super behind. Like X of Swords came out like a year ago, and I
Oh
slept,
yeah, that's
like,
right. I was asking you
yeah.
about that. Like, I haven't read it yet. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Because I need to talk to somebody about X of Swords because that was
And like Sean just read Planet Size X-Men. He's like, oh, all this cool shit's happening. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Planet Size X-Men. I was trying to tell Angela. I must have sounded like a madman. Like what they do in that comic. Holy shit! It's
Yeah.
great.
I'm so excited.
Fucking
I'm
great.
trying to cram it throughout the week, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, I think that about covers it, right? Yeah,
So
excellent.
yeah, it's just make it a point in your life. If Sailor Moon taught us anything, it taught us that we can go anywhere in a tuxedo and do nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
show up,
And-
throw a rose, give a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Ted
bounce.
Lasso would be a good tuxedo mask.
Oh,
You just
for
come
sure.
instead of like a
yeah.
rose, it's like a biscuit heap, you know. And
Baked.
yeah, and he's just dropping some words of wisdom.
That's cute.
Like, oh god, some of the quotes are just so good,
It's a feel
so good. Chandler, watch it. We'll find a way to watch it.
Okay.
Get you to watch
Thank
it.
you.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Well,
Bye.
And as always, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, give us some star reviews, and have fun exploring the multiverse.